Yo, so I finished my next character and I am really happy with it. I managed to solve pretty much all the problems I had with the build since the last update, but I will get into that, what I changed and how the build works a bit later in the video. I have timestamps if you want to skip ahead. So pretty much all I wanted to do with this character was to make a really beefy kind of Inquisitor, cast on crit with a Mjolnir, that can also face tank most content in the game, and also have just enough DPS and decent clear. And I think it went as well as I had hoped. You can see in the background footage how a normal map looks like with this character. The usual map bosses also just melt in just a few seconds now. Now the defenses of this character are really solid. For the most part you can just sit in most boss mechanics like shotgunning spells, casual Cyrus die beams, Shaper or Elder slams, etc. And of course normal map bosses are just a joke. All maven invitation boss fights were also quite easy, even when alked. Though I'm not gonna lie, some things were still really hard to face tank, like the new Uber maven invitation fight, the Feared. So even with this kind of beefiness, it was usual for me to die once or twice on that fight. The other content like Uber Elder, Maven, Cyrus, Simulacrums, etc. was all quite simple. I also managed to full clear some juiced 100% delirious Tier 16 maps. Though for me it was close to unplayable due to just the insane amount of lag in those maps. These were some of the best clips I could find. Everything else was pretty much just a slideshow. The maps took me around 30 minutes to clear as well, so doable, but maybe not the best character for it. So yeah, the build is definitely hard to kill, but how is the damage? That was the biggest issue I had at the start of the build, but now I think it's pretty alright. It's hard to say exactly, but now it should be around 3 to 5 million DPS depending on the boss size and buff up time. So nothing too crazy, but just good enough to not feel bad while fighting bosses. Alright, the build is a cast on crit character using Mjolnir. The skills I'm proccing is Ball Lightning from the 6th link and the Narc from Mjolnir. I just want to say this early on that do not go higher than 6.06 attack speed for this build. Anything higher than that will prick the proc rate on the spells. Okay, so the build is an Inquisitor. The reworked consecutive ground notables made getting a huge effective hybrid life pool way more accessible. Also the new notable Righteous Providence makes hitting crit cap very simple. The passive tree looks something like this, the important keystones being Glancing Blows. The build also has Doriani's Timeless Jewel right here for Corrupted Soul. Since getting Spell Leech is a big passive point or item investment, I just have a Watcher's Eye to fill that out. Okay, so now for the gear. And of course I'm using a Mjolnir. This is pretty much an extra cast on crit setup. You can also get a Fortify on hit corruption on it for extra defenses. Now the shield is light to Lunaris. This is pretty much impossible to beat in terms of DPS. Now the body armor is just a rare Elder Astral Blade. You can buy this base with white sockets for just a couple of exalts and spam pristine fossils until you hit something decent. But make sure you have an open prefix to craft down the Veld mod. The gloves is Algor Mortis, which are absolutely insane as long as the mobs are on Shield Ground. You can proc the Shield Ground with skills like Frostblink and Vortex. For the helmet, Crown of Dinmer Die is best in slot. Huge HP, ES and damage boost, and you can get any good enchant you want. Now for the boots, you could definitely just use a good rare, but I went with Stampede. It makes mapping with Cyclone very smooth. Also the cooldown recovery on travel skills is great for frost blinking around, and you can get an extra night. Since they were using a bunch of uniques, the jewelry is where you can fill out any stats, resists, and accuracy that you might still need. A good synthesis implicit belt like this also works wonders. As for the flasks, Bottle Fate and the series promises a huge DPS increase. And since we don't have that much armor, a Basalt plus Granite keeps us tanky against physical hits. So yep, that's the build. You can check the Path of Building link in the description for other finer details. If you have any questions, I can try to help in the comments. Thanks and see you soon.
Spent. my challenge.